This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there folks, welcome you all to this, the first vlog from the new location down in Blackpool. And I did promise, well I didn't promise, but I suggested that I may do the first vlog that I did down here about E3. The reality of the situation is, other than actually watching E3 at the time just before I moved, I haven't spent any time in kind of remembering or investigating what went on. So, and I haven't had time to go back and look at it all. There are things that have stood out to me, and I may raise some of them in this rambling that I'm doing now, but this particular rambling is not about E3, but I may well just mention stuff about it. I don't know at this stage in the game if I'll do one about E3, but I might change my mind about that, I might not. It's just really, I think time's slipped away from us, and to be honest, there'll be other Gamescom type things coming up anyway, so I may well do one on that. In fact, Gamescom is one of them, isn't it? I don't think Gamescom happened yet. E3 is kind of one of the first ones. There's loads anyway. You've got PlayStation X through the year as well. PlayStation Experience, or whatever they call it. So I may well hold off and do one on those, because they're bound to show the same stuff off anyway. And let's face it, if you watched E3, just about everything that was mentioned at E3, certainly from a PlayStation perspective, game-wise, isn't coming out until next year anyway. Which was highly, highly disappointing. But it's okay, we'd rather they were late and right than early and wrong. So that's okay. But I would have loved Days Gone to have been this year. But unfortunately, Days Gone, I think, was one of the few that didn't even get a date, it didn't even get a month or a year or anything. So we know less about that one than the others. And that was the one I thought might actually be out this year for Christmas, from what the whispers were. So anyway, I'm rambling about E3, and I said I wasn't going to talk about it. So I may well raise some of those issues. But however, I wanted to do this vlog today because, now I'm going to apologise in advance, because it may go light and dark, because this may well not be the way that I record these vlogs in this location. It just so happens that the microphone is here anyway for those of you who watch me do a live stream, I'm sitting on the couch and the camera for the live streams is just down in front of me here, and the microphone is set up here by default. So it was the easiest way to set the tripod up with the camera on it. The web camera is down there. So the webcam for doing streams is down there. What I'm recording on now is an actual proper Panasonic camcorder, and it's on a tripod. So the tripod is literally just sat in front of me, and I've got the microphone where it was. So I'd like to have the big TV behind me and you know, more game paraphernalia behind me. As things sit at the moment, I can't quite do that. However, for those of you that watched my moving in vlog, there's an area in the kitchen that was a dining area that was used as a dining area with the people that had the house before me. But I'm not. I mean, I don't need a dining room table and chairs because I'll never use them. So I'm going to have a chill out area there with my guitars and what have you. And that may well be the place where I do these, because it's very, very bright through there. In fact, this is why it's going light and dark, because it's all right in front of me. I've got the kitchen door open in front of me. You come through the living room and the kitchen's at the other side of it, and that leads into the garden. So the light is sort of coming through the door. So when it goes light and dark, that's why, because the sun's splitting the trees, but every now and then a cloud goes past. But of course, you've got this light window behind me, which is contrasting it. So once it's all set up out there, which it is not, because my new suite hasn't arrived for in the living room, once it does, this couch will be going through there, and then that'll become the little chill out area, and I may well do my vlogs out there, which means the TV won't be in the background, but there'll be lots of other knickknacks. Not a very interesting story, I grant you, but I'm just letting you know, people. I'm just letting you know. It is interesting. It is. It is. So, the vlog today is because I have made some purchases of games, which were kind of not planned, but I do this. You know this, people, if you follow me, because I don't regularly buy any more full price games, because it has to be a real standout. It has to be a real standout game for me to go for it. And to be fair, because I had all sorts going up in Edinburgh, I kind of held off buying full price games because I was trying to sort of put the coinage together to do all this moving and stuff. So anyway, long story short, let's just get to it, shall we? So I've bought some games because I saw a sale on Shop2 on some of these items. Now, as most of you know, I did a couple of vlogs on Horizon, one saying I was completely wrong about it and it was awesome before I'd played it, because that was all the reviews. I did another vlog not long after it saying I was disappointed because I was bored and I was running around. I didn't know what, I didn't feel like it was a proper RPG. And that was kind of the last that I spoke about it. And that was me playing my son's copy of Horizon. And that was a couple of months ago. And it kind of niggled at me a little bit, because I thought, I don't get why everyone else is kind of enjoying this game outside of a few people. And I'm not getting it. So it was kind of itching away at me that, and once I saw it at a proper price, because when I moved to Blackpool, I left my son's copy with him, obviously, up in Edinburgh. So I'd only played a bit of it. I mean, I only scratched the surface of it, to be fair. So I began playing it again, and you'll have seen me do one stream on it, and I'm absolutely loving it. I bought it. I got it from Shop2 for, I think it was £26. So if you haven't played it yet and you're looking for a cracking RPG game with, well, we'll call it an RPG game. And to be fair to it, it is more of an RPG game than I gave it credit for when I first spoke about it. Now that I've actually done more than scratch the surface and actually got my claws into the sort of proper game. And I was talking about things that, that there wasn't areas to discover that were sort of in the ground and like Skyrim, where you just sort of stumble across stuff and go, oh, what's this? And it kind of blows your mind a little bit. There is things like that, actually, once you get into it. Now, they're not sort of as random. They're called cauldrons, and they're sort of, well, I don't know what they are yet because I'm not that far into the game, but it seems to be where the machines kind of create more machines, and it's the belly of the beast, basically, it seems to be, and you have to clear them out and do things in them, and so you do end up doing quite cool stuff like that. And I'm still right at the very beginning of this game, so I kind of judged Horizon on not having done very much, and it was extremely unfair of me. And I don't know why. My mindset must be completely different than it was when I did my last chat about it, because I've been totally addicted to it since I played it. I mean, not that said, I haven't played it constantly because I've been on with other stuff. But when I have had time to play games, that's what I've been doing, and I'm absolutely loving it. So I don't know what changed. Clearly, sometimes it's like that with games, and it happened with me with Skyrim. I tried it about 3 times before I finally got into it. So, and I'm absolutely loving it. So I'll keep you posted on how far I get with it. And funnily enough, I kind of mentioned that I was getting bored wandering around and looting stuff. This time I'm not. This time I'm actually completely obsessed with just killing everything I see and looting the parts and trying. But so the RPG elements are there, and they are keeping me hooked this time, because I'm trying to get as many components as I can to get the best items that I can, or have a varying amount of items, because this game seems to depend on having different items for different situations. So you might have 3 bows all capable of different things, and that's the sort of thing that I'm working on at the moment. So that's quite cool. And I think when I first played it, I kept running out of space as well when I was collecting stuff, and it was because I wasn't upgrading my pouches properly, and that all seems to have gone away. And also I'm using traps as well, which I always avoid in games, but in this game they're really easy to make and they're really easy to use. They're really useful in big fights as well when you're fighting big uns. So yeah, absolutely loving it. And for those who haven't got it, 26 quid on Shop2. It's the cheapest you'll find it at the moment. If you want it new, if you want it second hand, you'll probably get it a bit cheaper, but it's still holding its price, that. So it's a great price if you want to have a look into that, people. The old Shop2. If you find me leaning this way, it's because I'm concerned the microphone's a little bit far away from me. It's probably fine. So it brings us to game number 2, and again, this is a game that back in the day I would have got almost immediately at launch, because I am a massive fan of Final Fantasy. But I haven't been sort of into Final Fantasy for a while. 13 I got into quite heavily eventually, and I kind of missed the combat of that game a bit, because it actually worked really well. And when I went back to play X, which I love, it's probably my favourite Final Fantasy game, it became frustrating because you do get that constant fight every 5 footsteps. Whereas with 13 you can kind of pick and choose when you fight. And I think with X you can actually get a ring that you can put on that stops you getting fights and stuff like that. But you know, it's much later down the road. So yeah, I always intended to get 15. It was just I didn't want to get it straight off the bat because I wanted to see what people thought of the combat and the open world, and the fact that there was no female characters in it kind of frustrated me a little bit. I think there are characters in it that are female, but they're not part of the main crew. I understand there's a reason for that and blah, but I like female characters in games, and I think having an all-male crew, don't know, it's going to be interesting for me because I like having female characters in games. It makes it more interesting. But and frankly, half of the female characters are more kick-ass than the bloke characters half the time. You know, the bloke characters tend to be so generic, it's unbelievable, whereas the female characters tend to be slightly more thought about. So yeah, and I find the acting on the female characters tends to be better at times as well in a lot of cases. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to play it anyway. My son played it, said it was all well. He loved it. He's a massive Final Fantasy fan anyway, and he's looking forward to 12, which is about to come out, the remaster. So again, I'll hold off on that and see what people think. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm not sure when I'm going to play these games because Horizon is got me so hooked at the moment. There's so much to do. I may do something on the next game I'm about to show you because I think there'll be quite a lot of people interested to see what this game's like, and I think a lot of people will be holding off to see it cheap, and it is cheap. So let's move straight on to it. It was. I think this is the same people that made Lords of the Fallen, and it is The Surge, which is a modern take on the RPG. So it's set in a sort of post-apocalyptic type world where it's sort of you're fighting robots and stuff. So it's still an RPG game so far as it's still got the mechanic of the sort of Lords of the Fallen, Dark Souls type thing and Bloodborne. It's that kind of fighting, but it's all with sort of, chainsaws and electrical type spears, all this sort of stuff. It looks really, really interesting. I haven't seen much of the gameplay of it, but I did read the reviews of it, and they were pretty good with it. I mean, they were closer to 8 than they were to 7. So you're talking about a half decent game. Pretty good game. So yeah, I'm really excited about that one. I don't think many people are spending much time with it online. I've not stumbled across that many people playing The Surge. There might be loads of them playing it, but it got good press from IGN certainly, and I'm looking forward to playing it. And I think you guys might be interested in seeing what the gameplay's like in it. So what I might do is I might record 2 or 3 Let's Play, sort of not live, just record them as three episodes of Let's Play, so you guys can see the game for what it is, rather than getting lost in a live stream conversation type moment. And if it's popular, I might do some more. And yeah, so you can let me know what you think about that. But the Surge, it's an interesting one because again, I was like, I'm not buying it at full price. And again, it was £26, I think, £26 at Shop2, as was Final Fantasy. Can't remember if I mentioned that. So that and Final Fantasy, yeah, I think they were £26 a piece. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to those. And last but not least, my son was getting at me about this game. Excuse me a second. Cheers, everyone. It's Saturday, by the way. This is not the normal day that I would do these sorts of things. And the sun is it's 6:10 in the evening. It's still early evening. The sun is splitting the trees, as I said before, and the sun is shining in. And I thought I would have a little one of these. Just back with all my groceries, as it happens. Time to chill out, people. So I'm going to have a little swig of this. Cheers. So last but not least, that was nice. This, I'm going to show you this as Hitman the Complete Season, which just bugs the shit out of me. Just make a full game, people, alright? I don't want it in episodes. This is why I didn't buy this game when it came out, because they were wanting you to buy an episode at a time. Just finish the game and release the game, alright? What's so hard about it? Just do it. And we're talking about Square Enix, we're not talking about some indie company. I can understand an indie game doing it. Winds me right up. So anyway, so I was waiting for it to be the right price and a complete season. Sadly, I think Square Enix still own the rights to Hitman, but the company that physically made the game, I think they are now defunct. I think they kind of got rid of all the developers. I don't know why, because it got a lot of praise, this game. But anyway, they still own the franchise, Square Enix, so it'll come back at some point. However, this is not the standard edition, people. It's the Steelbook edition. Look at this. So it comes in this, and you just pull it out. Not dissimilar to something else I got with the Steelbook in it. What was it? Was it Tomb Raider? No, Tomb Raider came with the art book. What was the other one I showed you guys? Oh, it was Deus Ex. So not dissimilar to Deus Ex, but it's got beautiful artistry on the front of it and the side. Hold it up there. In the back. And it's sort of... what's the word, people? Like Braille. What's it? It sticks out, people, is what I'm trying to say. It's all bumpy. I'm pretty sure all bumpy is not the technical phrase for it, but it's very nice. Yeah, and then inside, you've got the disc itself, but you also have, when you take all these bits of paper out, you've got more artistry inside. It's absolutely gorgeous. Really nice. And that, people, is £20 at Shop2. So if you haven't got it and you're a bit of a stealthy player, go and get it. It's supposed to be excellent. It's supposed to be a really, really good game. Multiple ways you can play it. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know when I'll get around to it. So I've had one of my little flurry moments where I saw loads of things on offer, and I thought, well, I might as well grab them while they're on offer, because inevitably when they don't go on offer again for the ages, people. The ages. It's doing that now on the PlayStation Store. I nearly bought all of the Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 when they were on offer at one point. I didn't do it, and then one night, I think I did a vlog actually about how much I enjoyed Resident Evil 6 when I played it, and I ended up paying bloody $15.99 for it because I didn't buy it at the £8 that it was at when I saw, or the triple pack at the time. And it's now, I can't buy the triple pack now because I bought that one at full price, but the other two, 4 and 5, are at $8.99 on the PlayStation Store at the minute. So I'm very tempted just to get them, and at some point I'll play them again. So I may well do that as well. Now I went out today for some sensible purchases for the house. And in the back of my mind, I had this object in mind that I needed, people. It's a necessity. It's not something that is just a willy-nilly purchase, I'll have you know. This is a necessity. It is. And what it is... because, well, firstly, it's a gadget, which is always a necessity anyway. Shiny gadgets are an absolute must in any person's life. I give you it. I wanted a pair of headphones. I think I've mentioned to you all when I was doing some live streams with the Turtle Beaches. Now, I love my Turtle Beach headset, and the Turtle Beach headset is wireless, and it comes with a stand that the Turtle Beaches sit on, and you can change the batteries in the Turtle Beach headset, and I plug the back of the stand plugs into the optical of the TV, so you get pure digital sound, and that feeds the headphones, so they're wireless. And I never use the microphone on it, so the microphone is completely pointless. I'm just using it for the headset. So when I'm streaming to you guys, the sound comes through that, so that you're not getting the feedback from the TV, and I get the beautiful sound from the game in glorious stereo. But what I wanted was a pair of headphones that weren't as heavy, because they're very heavy, the Turtle Beaches. And when you sit and do a stream for like 2 or 3 hours, they're very uncomfortable. Or even if I'm doing the Let's Plays, they start getting uncomfortable. So I wanted something lighter. I also wasn't sure what... I didn't need a microphone was the other thing. So I didn't want to get the PlayStation headset. Well, I did, but I didn't see much point in getting a PlayStation headset, then getting an Xbox headset, then needing something for my TV to play through when I want to listen to, movies and stuff. So in the end, I thought, well, why don't I just get a pair of Bluetooth headset and use those that will connect to anything anyway. And I can use those on my laptop if I'm listening to music. I can use them for my phone if I'm listening to music. I can use them on the TV, because the new TV I've got has got Bluetooth, and it's got this new, what's it called? It has a name, people. And it's like an instant click and connect feature. And I'll find it on this box. It's called NFC. One-touch connection with near-field communication. So the TV has that, and these headphones have that. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what they are. So I got these today, and they were £84. So it sounds... in the world of headphones, that's actually quite cheap, because there were headphones there for £300 and odd. And these are a very new model, and I couldn't listen to them in the shop, because the ones they had out were actually the wired version, and these were brand new and just come in, and these are the Bluetooth / NFC, or whatever it was. Bluetooth / NFC wireless ones, but they're the the bass versions, so they have a really good bass on them. And I tell you, I listened to some Sennheisers, and I've got a pair of Sennheisers from years and years and years ago. Well, just a wired pair, but they're beautiful. I love them. They're beautiful. And I put some Sennheisers on that were £169 in the shop, and they didn't have anywhere near the bass that these have. And for me, an awful lot of the music, if you don't have bass in there, it just sounds tinny. You know, you've got to have good bass in those headsets. So I was really, really impressed. Now, to be fair, that was on the wired set, and the wired set didn't say, you know, Uber bass or anything on them. So I'm hoping that this is even more pure. And they were really comfortable when they were on. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying them out. So I'll maybe give you some more feedback on that when I'm doing a live stream with them or whatever. So very exciting. I'm going to open those when I finish the vlog. I didn't see much. I don't think we need an unboxing on them, do we, people? If you do, if you want an unboxing, I'll put them back in the box and I'll just pretend that I'm opening them if you want. But I will. I'll feed back to you on them, how they are for the gaming and stuff. Because I do realise that sometimes maybe, you know, a pair of headphones is good for music and blah, but not necessarily good for games and stuff. But I have a feeling they're going to be all right. I have a feeling they're going to be pretty sweet. And to be fair, my Turtle Beaches are a good few years old now. I mean, I've had them probably 4 years, maybe longer. They're really, I mean, there's great sound, but they're just very heavy. So I'm really looking forward to trying these out. I'm very, very, very excited. 30 hours of battery life in these as well. So, yeah, very exciting. I need to get a little stand for them so that, because I don't really have anywhere to put them. I don't want them to get all messy. I mean, you can. I mean, in theory, I could go jogging with them on. I mean, 30 hours of power in them, and, you know, they link direct to your phone. You could just, because I wear my phone on my arm when I'm running. So, in theory, I could use it for that, but I won't. Because I'll keep them all nice and clean and nice for doing my streams and let's plays and listening to my music in the house. I might get a little, a sort of smaller pair for jogging with maybe or something. But at the moment I just have a little cheap wired pair that I plug in and just tuck it into my shirt. So there you are. All those little purchases kind of came out of the blue, really. And none of them were planned. Well, the headphones were a little bit planned because the house I bought isn't a semi-detached or anything. So, you know, I have neighbours at both sides and they're very nice and they don't, you know, complain if I have my music on during the day and stuff. But there are, you know, if it gets a little bit later in the evening, I don't want to be pumping my music, you know, all over the damn place. So it'd be nice. I had it in my mind that I wanted to get a decent pair of headphones where I can enjoy my music and having a little beer or whatever without disturbing people. So they were half in my mind, and plus doing the let's plays and stuff, I wanted something lighter, as I say, for me, for my little head. You know, maybe it's because I have no hair, people. Maybe it's because I have no hair and it hurts my head when I've got these things on. If I had a cushion, maybe it would help, you know. I put my hat back on, probably scared you there. Oh my God, what does he look like without a hat on? Right, that is it, people. That was it for today. I have nothing else to talk about. E3, well, I suppose, what jumped out at E3? Come on, what jumped out at me at E3? Spider-Man again, Days Gone again, God of War again. They didn't show off The Last of Us. Xbox One X, yes, I'll be getting one in November. Really looking forward to that. Oh, actually, I did, and I can't remember if I've said this. I might have said it in one of my cheap vlogs, but I purchased for £8 each in a second-hand shop in Blackpool. I got Gears of War 4 and Halo 5 Guardians. So I've got those two added to the collection because I've not played them because I got frustrated with the Xbox not quite being as uber as I wanted it to be. So now that the Xbox One X is coming out, I've got an excuse to go and play those games when they... So I'm sort of building up any little bits of library that I don't have. I'm looking forward to getting back to Quantum Break, which I already have because my son bought it for one of my birthdays ages ago or a Christmas. And I'm hoping all of these games... I know Halo and Gears are going to be 4K, I think, by the time the Xbox One X comes out. I'm hoping Quantum Break's going to get the same treatment because that was playing in 720p, which is just... What? So, that being the case, I'm going to really enjoy seeing those games in all their shining glory, you know, and maybe even higher frame rates as well. You never know, but they are more graphically orientated, these machines, rather than frame rate orientated, as we know. So yeah, so we've got those. So yes, 3 and Xbox X, yes, Xbox One X, yes. I don't recall any Xbox games that are new that I'm remotely interested in at the moment. They showed off loads of games, but I was like, So really, from a games perspective, it's all about the PS4 really at the moment. What was the remake that I was surprised about? A lot of folk were surprised about the remake of is it Shadow of Colossus? I think it was, wasn't it? Shadow of Colossus. So there was little things in there that people were like, where did that come from? Nintendo had a great time, didn't they? I mean, everyone's loving the bloody Switch. I mean, my son got a Switch actually just recently, and he's absolutely adoring it. And I've spoken to a few people, games-wise, who are Xbox players and PlayStation players who picked up a Switch, and they're just completely addicted to them. They're doing really well. And I think what Nintendo do well is they don't try and compete with the other two. Like, they don't want to make an Uber console. They want to make a console that's different. So, and in every time they do one now, they do that. All right, it didn't quite work out with the Wii U the way they wanted it to, but, you know, sometimes, you know, everybody has a flop at some point or other. The PS3 struggled at the beginning. Xbox One's had a right hard time of it. You know, everybody has a flop. So, you know, you learn your lessons and you move on. And I think the Switch its sales are absolutely outstanding. So, yeah, well impressed. Very nice to have them back in the game, as it were. I think people are happy to have them as a second console as well, so it's not like people would give up a PS4 to have a Switch. You know, they'll always have it as another option, because the games are always going to be the only place you can play those games. In most cases, you know, you're never going to be able to play Zelda or Mario or anything else anywhere else. You know, there'll be mobile versions and stuff, you know, but not those particular games. So yeah, good luck to them. So there you are. That's pretty much what's jumping out. Oh, I'll tell you the other thing that jumped out at me E3 was BioWare's MMO Anthem, which looked really good. So that'll give Destiny a bit of a run for its money if they've done it as well as it looked. But we all know that demos can be deceiving. If it's as free as it looked in that demo, it's exciting, people. It's exciting. Really looking forward to Destiny 2 because I'm a Destiny player. Not a very good one, but I do spend a lot of time playing Destiny with my best friend and others. So yeah, and that's it. That's all I've got for you people. I hope you're all having a really good weekend. The sun is shining. I think I'm going to go and sit in the garden for a little bit. Well, I'm going to unpack these headphones and try them out and see if the Bluetooth signal reaches the garden. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy a little bit more of my beer. And hopefully it won't be too long before I give you another vlog. I don't know what the next vlog is going to be about. Something might jump out at me. It's a bit of a cheapy one, this, because I've not put any sort of little movies in for you behind me or anything. Although I'll tell you one thing I haven't talked to you about. I keep going to end this video, and then I think of something else. That's what you get for not planning, people. That's when it becomes a ramble. I don't think I've quite shown you how things are set up in the room. I think on my phone I kind of showed you stuff behind me. So what I might do is, while I'm talking now behind me, I might just do a very quick video with this camcorder, and I'll put it up behind me so you can see the sort of layout of where everything is in the living room when I'm doing these streams, so you can see how everything's connected and how tidy it is compared to, I think I showed you my old setup at some point, how tidy it is and how few, well, I mean, the cables just aren't hardly seen because everything's so compact, and it's so much easier with the laptop. So yeah, so I might put that behind me and just let you see, you know, where the webcam's sat, where the, you know, I mean, we're not talking about a professional setup as such, you know, it's all just sort of placed in the right place for everything to be tidy and easy for me to just say, right, let's just do it, let's just do a stream. So all the cables that come from the back of the TV to, well, not even the back of the TV, the Elgato capture box and the back of the TV. So a couple of cables come down there to the laptop, the microphone goes to the laptop, and that's it. You know, there's only 3 cables going there, and everything else just goes through the capture card. So it's really, really tidy. In the old setup, I had extension cables everywhere to try and get all the way around the room to the PC that was the other side, because you can't move the PC any closer to the, you know, so it was all everything everywhere. And I think a lot of the technical problems I had was because I was using extension leads, and a lot of things aren't happy using extension leads, signal loss and everything degrades and blah. I haven't had one signal issue since I put this setup in, because I'm not using any extension leads. Everything's directly plugged into the laptop, and the laptop's uber. I mean, the PC was fairly uber, but this is a little bit more powerful. So there you are. I hope that's been of some kind of interest to you. It's been a pleasure coming back and doing my first vlog from down here in the new place in Blackpool. And I hope it's not too long before I do another one. I'm not sure what's going to be happening game-wise. I'm certainly going to be playing more Horizon, and I will be doing... The only thing that puts me off doing the live stream slightly is because the minute I start streaming, I don't get it in 4K anymore, and it looks it looks stunning in 4K. I mean, it looks good in 1080p, but it is stunning in 4K. So, whenever I'm playing it, it's like, oh, I could stream for an hour or whatever, and it's like, in the back of my head, it's like, oh, we've got to go back to that old 1080p crap. Even though it looks great, but yeah, I mean, it is really noticeable when you go from 4K to 1080p, I have to say. Certainly in that game, anyway. So there you are. So I'll be doing some more of that. I will be doing some more episodes of Dragon Age Origins on the Xbox back compat, and other such things I'm sure I will throw in as I go. And as I mentioned, I'll try and do at least 3 Let's Plays on the Surge. Once I get that far, it has been an honour and a privilege serving for you once again, and I shall see you all next time, folks. Take it easy. Bye.